Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest version of the Distributed Experience. Today, I'm coming to you from Interview World headquarters in our broadcasting suite here to bring you a conversation with DJ Lee. DJ is the president of Professional Flooring Supply out of Fort Worth, Texas. DJ, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, as we talked about, DJ, we're going to go through our questions around customer experience. So you've had some of your colleagues, your esteemed colleagues from the NBMDA and NAFCD boards join me in the past, and you're going to get your opportunity to address these same questions. So we look forward to hearing your answers, and I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to start out with probably the hardest question, because customer experience means usually a little bit something different to everybody. So I'm going to ask you, DJ, what does customer experience mean to you?
Well, I would say from beginning to end, involving any transaction that a client has with our organization, it means what value are we bringing along the chain as a client thinks about us? Are we top of mind? Why are they choosing to do business with us? Okay, I've made the selection. I want to go and purchase this product. Then how does it feel? What type of kind of emotions are generated throughout the process of any sort of purchasing transaction in doing business with our organization, and how centered around that client or that customer is that transaction? How does it feel to them?
Okay. I love those thoughts around things like, how does it feel? What are the emotions? Things like that. But I think you highlight in that answer, DJ, that customer experience is a big topic, right? You're getting into big, meaty things, right? There's a lot encompassed in there. So it's not a simple thing to tackle. So I appreciate that answer. Continuing on here, when you think about your industry, and you just talked about the chain, right? You referenced the chain. When you think about your industry, whose job is it to focus on customer experience?
From my perspective, at least within my organization, I would like to think that honestly, everybody has a part in how they think about the customer experience, and how does my part in doing business with this client impact them. And whether that be my delivery drivers, in a lot of cases, they're the face of the organization. Sometimes my clients see them more than they do anybody else. Right. So they have a big part in it. It's not just marketing or the marketing department that has a lot to say about how the clients feel about doing business with Professional Flooring Supply. So honestly, everybody has something to say about the customer experience as a whole, because the client is going to touch each individual part of our organization throughout the life cycle of doing business with us.
Okay, so I'm gonna press you on that. Okay, I'm gonna double click on that answer. If, as the president of your company, you want to have a conversation about ways to upgrade or improve your customer experience, you can only walk into one of your people's office to start that conversation. Whose office do you walk into?
Only one.
Only one. To start, okay. Where does it start?
I'm actually going to start with my operations department.
Okay.
Because they are involved on the front end with how our clients view our business when they walk into our store, right? Okay. So if you're physically doing business with a brick and mortar distributor, forgetting e-commerce for a second, any other type of avenue that we try to approach, I'm going to talk to somebody who's got the most impact face-to-face with our client in terms of how that client feels about doing business with us.
Okay, I like that answer. Everybody will have their own answer to those questions, but I think that's very insightful. I appreciate you indulging my follow-up there. I'm going to move on to the next question. So when you think about your team, what is one thing that you are doing as an organization to improve the overall experience right now?
Well, I would like to say that we're doing multiple things, because as far as we're concerned, you as a client have a choice in where you do business. So if you're making a choice to do business with us, I've got to ask the question of why, and what am I doing to enhance that one reason that you might be choosing to do business with us. I would say that the one thing that we try to focus on is making it feel like we want you here when you show up.
Okay.
The simple little things, like when a client walks through the door, it's immediately greet them. Hello, how are you? Thanks for coming in. If you know them by name, you better use their name, and make it an inviting, welcoming place to be.
No, that's a great point. It's a great area to focus, and it's often overlooked, especially in an age of transactions going, digital, and people doing more, like you said, through e-commerce and things like that. We know from research that most of these purchases are still made between human beings, and there's an opportunity really to improve that. So that's a good place to focus. Okay, I'm going to keep moving on. This is we're moving to the fill in the blank section of our interview today. Okay. When you think about your industry as a whole, and I'm going to go back to that word, the chain, right? You've got manufacturers, you've got distributors, you've got retailers, contractors, fabricators, all sorts of different people downstream from you. But when you think about all of those people across your whole industry, our industry needs to do blank better for our end customers. Not your customer, the end customer. Our industry needs to do blank better for our end customers.
To me, that's easy. To me, education. We need to do a better job of what I like to say, purveyors of the truth. There's so much misinformation that gets brought along through kind of the big marketing machines out there that say, okay, this product does this, and this for you. Well, what does it really do in terms of bringing you value? Being this product is selected and used for you, why? And so I think it's a big thing that needs to happen for the end users as well as people throughout the chain in the industry.
It sounds very close to an answer that we got, a little bit different, but in a previous interview, we heard something very similar. So I think we're seeing a little bit of a trend there around making sure that the consumers really are getting the right information, that the right stories are being told out there. So very, very insightful. All right, we're moving on to our final question here. Okay, we're taking you outside of work, outside of your day-to-day, business life, into your personal habits. Okay, who is one company or brand who has won you over as a consumer with their customer experience?
Outside of work.
Outside of work. It can be inside of work. Who's a brand, that a company or brand that has won you over because of their customer experience?
Okay, at work, to me, there's one that's done a really good job, sort of 360 degrees around the business, and that would be Utzin, who is a manufacturer based in Germany, has a big operation here in the United States as well, who does floor preparation, moisture mitigation, and things like that. But they've done a really good job of education and training, and why use this product over this other product. Outside of work, just came to me. How about Chick-fil-A?
Yeah. Why Chick-fil-A?
They really seem to care when I show up. They are, I think, genuinely concerned about the health, happiness of their associates, and they seem to have a plan for what they want to do moving forward, and how, have a plan for how they approach their customers.
Yeah. Well, they certainly do. And that's one that we've talked about before. And I actually think it's come up in our previous interviews before. So they're doing something right, because people always go back to them and say, It might just be a chicken sandwich and waffle fries, but there's just something about those people that that earns my dollars time and time again. So DJ, we appreciate the insights. Thank you for taking the time today to join us. And I'm sure
Absolutely.
that your colleagues throughout the industry will get a lot from this conversation today. So thank you.
Well, I hope so. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on.